She would be the most fun human being alive to drink with. I watched, there's a video of her and Seth.
She would be the celebrity you'd get drunk with. You wouldn't get drunk with like Barack Obama or like Beyonce.
No. Would I want to get coffee with Barack Obama?
Yeah.
Yes. Am I going to get
No, but if you got drunk with Barack Obama, you could ask him about UFOs.
You could ask him about aliens.
Well,
tell me about the aliens.
Hello and welcome to Band Together, a podcast by the Family Crest, which is us.
We're the Family Crest.
We are.
How's the week going, boys and I would say boys and girl, but I know how the week's going for a girl because we live together.
What's up in NY?
In NY, yeah, hot every day, 93 degrees as usual. And yeah, kind of like starting to get a little annoyed that we can't go out and do stuff. That's starting to get like old. Because at first it was like, it's cool, we got each other, but like now it's like.
But now you hate each other and it's
now
just.
Now it's like, like F you.
I just want to go to a bar.
Yeah, I just want to walk around outside without feeling like I'm going to die. No.
It's true.
No, but I mean, we take walks and stuff, but it's also 90 degrees.
55.
But that doesn't do. That's like not what we crave. You know what I mean?
I know. We crave more.
I want to sit down and eat food with someone or like give someone a hug, which I don't even know if we'll ever be able to do again. We might not ever be able to hug anyone ever again.
And I'm a hugger. I like to hug.
I love hugging.
I'm not a hugger, but that's fine.
Owen's not.
I'm happy for you guys at some point. It's been like 55 and foggy every day here. We're in full July,
it's been quite nice.
West, like soupy fog.
I know.
I
look at it every day and I'm like, it's 55 in San Francisco.
Well, this week has been it's weird. Like we say it every week, but like I talked to one of our homies in Chicago, Andy Weber, and we all kind of agree it's like time doesn't exist anymore. It feels like it's been forever, and it feels like it's been no time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Yeah. Me and the girlfriend had the same conversation. Like, it's like, it's, you've been here forever, but then you haven't, you just came or whatever. So, And
it hits you in at least it hits me in weird ways. For example, I needed to buy like eye makeup remover. And I was like, it's impossible that I've run out of this. I just bought some, and then I realized I actually bought it like 5 months ago, but it feels like I just bought it. And other weird things like that.
100%.
You're like, oh my God, it's been 6 weeks since I did X, Y, or Z, but it doesn't feel like that long. It's like living in the upside down. Yeah,
I got like a 3-month supply of like fish oil pills. And I was like,
you did?
Yeah, I did, because it's good for you. Hello. And I've been taking them, and I've been taking them every day. Feel great. Skin's good. And then I was looking through and I'm like, how do I only have like 6 of these left? That was yesterday that I bought them, but no, it was 8 years ago when I was,
I know it's
40.
mixed up in both directions. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, before we get into our main topic, which is a hybrid of music picks and discussion, we wanted to take a moment to encourage everyone to register to vote, to check your voter registration, to see if you can sign up for vote by mail. If you have the time and you feel safe, we would encourage you to volunteer to be a poll worker, because that's really critical this year, especially if younger people do it. It's important for younger people to do it. And we also wanted to give a shout out to NIVA, the National Independent Venue Association, which is run by, it's kind of a cohort of indie venues, but the GM or CEO of First Avenue in Minneapolis is the president, and she's been doing amazing work. And they actually have bills in the co-sponsored bipartisan bills in the House and the Senate that they're supporting. But one of them is called Save Our Stages Act. and it was introduced by John Cornyn and Amy Klobuchar. And it's basically a lifeline to independent venues. So if any of you love going to see shows at indie venues, which could be, a beautiful theater that's 1,000-person theater or a tiny little hole in the wall, this bill will help them survive the pandemic, because live music venues were the first to close and they will be the last to reopen.
Yep.
So go to saveourstages.com and they have an online form. It does all the work for you, but it will, you just fill out a couple of pieces of info and it will email your elected officials your support of the legislation. So we encourage you to support this amazing work that they're doing and to support local venues, because we want to see you again on the road when this is all over. And we want to make sure that the venues are there too, because otherwise we can't tour.
And on that note too, if you can afford to do it, and if you have bands that you've been listening to that on Spotify or on Apple Music that you haven't purchased their music or their t-shirts or whatever, if you can afford it, do it. Because right now, bands, we make our money through touring. I mean, pretty much. That's when you sell merchandise. That's when you actually offload CDs and whatnot like that. Otherwise, people listen to it for free. So if you have a band that you've been listening to, go support them, because a lot of bands are struggling right now. And again, we're going to be the last to be able to go back out there and actually work. So yeah, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out.
And if you, decide to help us out and purchase merch from us, know that it was wrapped up and shipped with care by myself. And if I hand wrote it, that means I ran out of paper to print labels. So
no,
otherwise I'll print the labels.
That means you love them.
And John's been wearing a mask for the last 6 years of his life every day. So John's been COVID free since birth.
I upgraded. All right. So when I go to the post office to send merch, mask, of course, and visor and the thing. Hell yeah, I do. Hell yeah, I do.
Put in a pic right here.
I will put a pic of it right there. I have a picture of me holding merch that I was getting ready to send out, and I'm wearing the mask and the visor and sunglasses and obviously, COVID clothes, which is just wearing, gym shorts and nothing, but because why dress, for anything.
On the subject of masks, I have this app on my phone called Flipboard, which is a weird news aggregator and just shoves stuff in your face. And I like gadgets and tech stuff. So every once in a while, things will pop up. And there's a company in Germany, of course, that is trying to get this mask made for consumption for the average person. That is literally a fishbowl. It looks like a fishbowl. It looks like something out of sci-fi 1960s.
Lost in space and shit.
Yeah, that you wear on your head. And then it has a tube that goes into the back of it, and you wear a backpack that has a little ventilation thing. Nice. And their whole thing is I'll see if I can find the link and I'll send it to you. The thing is that specifically for hot climates, they're well, I mean, this, you could have it sending air conditioned filtered air into your thing. Yeah. Right. But again, how strange would it be if the 60s actually got it right just by accident, and we were all walking around with fishbowl things on our head?
Yeah. I'm down though. I'm down.
Wouldn't be the weirdest shit that happened this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anything is possible at this point. Anything is possible.
So our subject matter today is based on, I know, the Bird app, Twitter, some trending topics that I saw. And it was basically everyone was posting. Normally I would not encourage you to get on Twitter, but this was very nostalgic to watch. People were posting the 4 albums that defined high school for them. And I don't know, it gives you kind of a sense of people's personalities and what they were into if they have to narrow it down. I will say I was unable to narrow it down.
Me too.
I have 4 albums that I painfully decided to prioritize. And then I have 10 honorable mentions that I'm just going to spit out really quickly.
Just kind of spit out.
I think the way that question is worded, though, I just thought about it, is kind of strange, because these are the albums that I listened to the most when I was in high school. But if you were asking me to define that time period, it was a bunch of music that I probably didn't listen to that much, but that when I hear it, I'm automatically like, yep, that was high school. Like I didn't listen to Blink-182, but if I hear like Adam's song, I'm like, yeah, that's high school.
So does the thing I wasn't thinking about. So when I picked them, it's basically spans from between 2000 and 2004, which is the years I was in high school. And
you were 2 years behind me. Jesus.
Yeah, I was a year old for my grade. I was like I was kind of old for my grade. So
this is a safe space. You can admit you got held back.
Yeah. John's actually 42. He was held back quite a few times.
Actually 42, man. I'm just trying to get my life together here. It's just a slow start. But
I was young for my grade. Yeah, I guess you're right.
But what I picked stuff that came out between those 4 years. I don't know if that was necessarily the rules, because the rules might have been like,
there are no rules
because if like
anymore.
the White Album was like what you were listening to in high school, then I guess that would count, or is it supposed to be albums between
There's no rules.
those years?
There's no
rules anymore.
We're trying to create content here, John. Content.
I don't think there are rules, but I do think that that probably all of us had some stalwart albums that we listened to all the way through, that we would revisit over and over again, that if you put on any of the tracks on any of the albums, it would immediately take you back the way that, a scent would, or
right,
a specific environmental change or so. You know what I mean? How it's like in your DNA if you've listened to an album enough. So I would say, that's kind of what I was thinking when I was going through
I went with the years I was in high school, because that actually made it easier to narrow it down.
You did one for 2001 for 2001.
No, not necessarily. Some of them might be the same year, but they all are in between those years. I was asking if you listen to Abbey Road all the time, do you have that, or do you have to be within that specific time period?
I think Abbey Road's fine if that's what you were into.
Abbey Road's great, don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying that's one of my picks. That's just
yeah.
Hypothetically. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Let's jump into it.
And also, are we doing other music picks with that too? Because I got other music picks as well.
No, save them, dog.
Yeah, save them.
Yeah, but
next week we'll each do 8 music picks.
All right, I will save it.
I'm going to jump in.
I had some good ones too, John. I had some good ones too.
I know.
It's for next time. Save it for later.
We'll do it for a shorty or something. I'm going to jump in. I have a huge, massive list because I'm extra in everything that I do.
Truer words have never been spoken.
I couldn't. I'm just going to
slump down in my chair a little bit.
Yeah. I couldn't break it down, and so I'm gonna go with, in no particular order, Antichrist Superstar, Marilyn Manson. I just remember hearing that for the first time, thinking it's just a really creative record in terms of the production, and it sounds really genuine. Like you had a lot of artists trying to do this kind of goth rock, at that time period. Like Rob Zombie, for example, who, I'm not going to talk shit on Rob Zombie. I very much enjoyed Rob Zombie's first record. But his whole theme was like, we're going to sound like we're doing horror movies and nu metal smashed together. And so it kind of had this like non-genuine, almost playful feel. And that record that Marilyn Manson released felt like terrifying and really genuine. And I just remember, the theatrics of it all being kind of like drawn in. I went through I guess around that same time I was listening to Radiohead a lot. I had bought OK Computer. And that was probably like freshman year of high school. And it just, one of the other records that kind of was a life-changing record in terms of hearing popular music that was that complex, but didn't sound complex in a lot of ways. And using just all these things that I hadn't heard before. I also listened to a band called Hours, which we've played with them before. And Hours, if you don't know, is pretty much the front man of the band is the band Jimmy Necco. And Jimmy Necco kind of sounds like, well, I get a lot of people saying that I sound like Jeff Buckley, but I actually didn't listen to Jeff Buckley until college when somebody told me I sounded like Jeff Buckley, which I don't think I sound like Jeff Buckley.
Still get it all the time, though.
I think any dude that sings with a falsetto, and then if you add the vibrato that I have, you're going to get Jeff Buckley.
Gotcha.
But Ours, I thought about this, and I think I know why. Ours, the lead singer, Jimmy was friends with Jeff Buckley. And Jeff Buckley, I guess, was like kind of like not a mentor, but kind of like he looked up to him. And Jimmy's voice sounds like if you took Jeff Buckley and thrashed it, somehow he's able to hit these really high screaming falsetto notes mixed with screaming, though. It's really strange, and it sounds really beautiful and pure, and he does it over and over again. And I was trying to do a lot of vocal modeling around him. So I think a lot of the vibrato that I take came from him, and also Maynard from Tool and Perfect Circle, because he was another guy that was singing, beautiful voice, in a new metal scene that was different. I was obsessed with, Ours, let me finish up with Ours. Ours, Distorted Lullabies was the record that I was obsessed with. It's very good. Check it out. And then Perfect Circle. I was a big Tool fan, but when Perfect Circle released their album, Mer de Noms, I believe it's called, it was something that I was like waiting for. It was one of the first records that I was like anticipating for months. And Maynard's voice was just something that if I hear Maynard's voice, I'm automatically taken back to high school. And then I went through a classic rock phase when I started getting into playing guitar. So I had listened to a lot of Beatles when I was younger, but I didn't find Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd until high school. So when I was a sophomore, I found Dark Side of the Moon, and I found Led Zeppelin 4, which is Stairway to Heaven, Black Dog. And weirdly enough, if I listen to both of those albums, it takes me back to high school. I just feel that sentiment from high school. I also went through a jazz phase where I listened to this woman, Claudia Vallela, who has an album called Inverse Universe, that if you can find it, buy it. It's impossible to find that. She was not a big artist in popular music, but the artistry in that album was it was a life-changing record for me, just hearing Brazilian jazz to that level. And my last two...
The last seven.
I don't know if you guys did, but I actually, and I don't know if this is still a thing, but when we were in high school, I feel like soundtracks were really popular. Like everybody bought soundtracks to movies. That was the big thing.
Those are my first albums for soundtracks.
So the two soundtracks that if I listen to, I'm automatically like, yeah, I'm back in high school. Vanilla Sky, which was more leaning into the like, which I don't care what, that movie's dope. I love that movie, but it's so good. That movie's awesome. Vanilla Sky,
watch it.
Which was kind of leaning into where indie was going. They had like Travis on it and Radiohead and stuff. The Matrix soundtrack.
Yeah, that's some good.
Matrix soundtrack was sweet.
Yeah, that's some good stuff on it for sure.
You know what? And I got
songs, right?
Yeah. I don't know, but I got. You know what? If I'm doing it, I gotta throw out two more. Sorry, I gotta do it. The Spawn soundtrack. The Spawn soundtrack is high school to me.
The Spawn soundtrack. That is.
I'm looking that up. What is on the Spawn? The Spawn soundtrack.
I can wait. I might be able to do this. It opens with Crystal Method and Filter. Can't You Trip Like I Do? It goes into. Is it Marilyn Manson and? It's called Long Hard Road Out of Hell.
Yeah.
Is that the second song?
Yep.
Metallica has a song called Satan on it. That's hilarious.
Well, it's actually just Kirk Hammett, but
Kirk
Hammett and Orbital.
Orbital. That was
Korn with the Dust Brothers. Korn with the Dust Brothers. Kick the PA. Butthole Surfers.
Yeah. You know that album has the weirdest
song though. For Whom the Bell Tolls is on there.
Oh, that's right. That album has the weirdest Incubus song I've ever heard on it, because they don't sound like Incubus, and they also have Atari Teenage Riot and Slayer doing No Remorse and I Want to Die that has the craziest, fastest breakbeat on it.
There's also a Prodigy song featuring Tom Morello.
Oh yeah, It's not.
Which-
I remember.
I'm intrigued by that.
Umbrella.
One man army. Yeah.
All right, I was
Dreamboat.
going to talk shit on your Spawn soundtrack, but now I'm going to listen to this.
Yeah,
later, so
now it
I'm
looks dope,
bookmarking
right?
this.
And also for all of us, even though Laura's a little younger than we are, but like I feel like if you put the Can't Hardly Wait soundtrack on, it's high school. It's immediately you're in high school. Like if you look up that I just popped in my head, but it's like Third Eye Blind, Can't Get Enough of You Baby. Remember that song?
Oh my gosh.
Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth.
I don't think I want to hear the soundtrack, but I'm sure it would take me back.
Yeah.
It will take you back, and then you'll want to come back.
Then I'll be like,
And then
"That's
you want to
enough."
come back. Let's come back.
Yeah. All right. So those are my picks for high school.
Tight.
I gave a lot, but I didn't go into too much detail because that's a lot of
That
picks.
was good. That was concise.
I'll go.
Okay.
Because only one will have a story. Okay, so, so obviously, this is high school, so I have to have one album of pop punk. So the album I'm going to pick is The Starting Line, Say It Like You Mean It. That was just
You be you, John.
Yeah, that was just
Don't apologize.
influential album for me. It's like when I started playing in bands, I was like listening to that. I was like, yeah. If I was to pick a song in particular, I'd go with the last track, This Ride. Everyone loves Leaving and The Best of Me, but I'm going to go ahead and pick This Ride. The next one is, remember that band Jet? They're an Australian band.
Yeah, totally.
So their first.
One, two, three, tell you how to
Yeah.
big, got your legs out, I really want to make it right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Supposedly they were actually, I'm not going to, this is not, but I've heard that they were created like in a specific way, or at least picked up in a specific
they?
way.
Allegedly, according to Liam.
No,
They
because
allegedly.
Flag that. We'll cut it in post.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know their story. I know they're Aussie, but like they only did like 2 albums and then they were done. So it might have been a manufactured thing. The album's called Get
Was
Born.
that song? I feel like that song, Are You Gonna Be My Girl? I think that out of all the songs and all the commercials within a couple year period, that was probably the most used. Don't you think?
It might
I'm
have
sure
been.
Or
Yeah.
was it just?
That
It
was
might have
lessons
just
in
been.
everything.
I think that was in one of those iconic Apple
It was.
iPod.
I think it was the first song they ever
It
used.
was, yeah.
which
where it's like the
was
silhouette
airing all the
dancing.
time.
Yeah.
It was.
Did
yeah.
you guys have iPods, by the way? I had an
I
iPod.
did.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I had a.
It had
was
my
the
name
first-
on
I think
it.
I had like a
That was the
second or
first
third
piece of tech.
generation.
I think I had a
Zoom.
second.
Of course
A
you
Zoom,
did.
yeah.
I
You did not have a Zune.
I didn't have a Zune. No, I had some generic MP3 player, and I can't think of what it was. But I wish it
Wait,
was
how-
a Zune.
How many people had a Walkman in high school?
I wasn't allowed to have a Walkman.
Yeah, I had a Discman. I had a CD
I-
Discman.
Okay, so
I had
I'm
a
the only one that
Discman.
had a Walkman.
I didn't have a Walkman. I had a Discman.
I had a Walkman.
So how many
but
people
not
had
in high
Discman?
school.
I had a Discman. Did you guys have Discman?
Yeah, I had a Discman.
Yeah.
Did you?
No, I wasn't allowed
Do you know
to
what that
wear
is, Laura?
headphones until I was, yeah, I do, but I wasn't allowed to have headphones like on drives and things before I was actually driving myself, because my mom was like, I want you engaged with us. I don't want you to
Ugh.
just tune us out. So
Part of being a teenager is tuning your parents out.
I ceremoniously, when I turned 16, was given an iPod and headphones, and then I could tune everyone out if I wanted. But that was it.
That's a weird story.
All right, John, what's number 3?
So number 3 is Incubus, Morning View.
That would...
Particularly
Bring me
the
back.
song, yeah, Wish You Were Here. Yeah, doesn't that take you back? Like you immediately know the time period if they're just like that whole
Well-
like it didn't matter what kind of band you were, but you had to have a DJ in it. That's
Well, oh, yeah, totally.
That's the 2000s. Because like that was basically a new metal thing, but Incubus was, I guess they were new metal too, but they had a DJ as well. And it's like you had to have a DJ.
They're like R&B new
They
metal.
didn't do anything either.
Yeah, I mean, he just went.
Just went like, yeah, just a little sound in the background.
What did any of the DJs do in the new metal bands? Like, maybe they spin
Nothing.
samples
They just
every
made
once in a while.
They made the little like the sound, the little slide like
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That was
with
it.
like Limp Bizkit and stuff. Like,
They didn't do samples.
Yeah.
Incubus to me, so every class or most of the class, I think the last 3 years before I graduated high school, every class walked out to there was always like a song that every high school ended up inevitably choosing. Like one year it was "Time of Your Life" by
every
Green
year.
Day.
Every year was "Time of Your Life."
Every year was "Time of Your Life." Let's be real.
Except your year.
Yeah, at some point, "Time of Your Life"
that was
play.
that was my high school graduation song.
The year before us was that song. So tonight,
here's to the night. Eve 6.
Yeah,
Eve 6. Yeah.
But for whatever reason, my class, we were a little douchey and we chose that song, "Nice to Know You."
It's the first track off
View.
Morning View. Yeah.
Goodbye. Nice to know you.
Nice to know you.
Know you.
Yeah.
And that's a dude. That guy can sing.
Yeah.
That guy can sing. And that band, that album was sick.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good album.
It was a good album.
Yeah.
It was a good album. Okay, so my final one is Kelly Clarkson, "Breakaway."
Nice.
Oh, hell yeah, John, you're crushing it.
Yeah, so this one, I forgot about this one. We actually, and it was brought up to me, I think, a random mix might have been in the car. And then so I told my girlfriend this story of I've actually seen Kelly Clarkson live in concert twice. The first time I saw her at the Greek Theater in Berkeley, but she lost her voice and she kind of did an acoustic set for like another 20 minutes and then like ended the show early. So she fell, and we had like second row tickets. I didn't buy these, by the way. I didn't spend like $200, $200 on these tickets. It was from my
John.
friend
Again,
Robbie. Friend Robbie got them from his dad was like was working in a restaurant where a pop radio station was broadcasting out of that day, and he's like, "Hey, my son really likes Kelly Clarkson. Can we get tickets?" And he's like, "Yeah." So we were like second row, but she ended the show early, so she felt so bad that at the end of the tour, she came around again to San Jose to the Shark Tank or whatever. And she said, anyone who is at the Greek Theater show, just present your ticket at the box office or you can get new tickets and come and see this show for free. So I got to see her again, got to see the whole show, or she did the whole show for real. So
what a classy broad.
Awesome. I know.
Love her.
I was like, that's super nice of you. Cause she played maybe like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes at the Greek Theater. She played like four songs, lost her voice, and then tried to play acoustic and then ended it. So, but because Tori is rough on your goddamn voice, so
yeah, it's hard, especially when you're doing belting. Kelly Clarkson, I think if I had to choose, and this is a weird thing for me, but honestly, if I had to choose, maybe she's not number one, but she's up there as close to number one. If I could get drunk with any celebrity, she seems like she would be the most fun human being alive to drink with. There's a video of her and Seth.
She would be the celebrity you'd get drunk with. You wouldn't get drunk with like Barack Obama or like Beyonce.
No.
That would be too nerve-wracking, I think. Kelly Clarkson would be like, you could feel comfortable. Huh?
No, we're saying, like, for me, like, look, there's people. Would I want to get coffee with Barack Obama?
Yeah.
Yes. Am I going to get?
No, but if you got drunk with Barack Obama, you could ask him about UFOs.
You could ask him about aliens.
Well,
tell me about the aliens.
I just want to be clear that Liam is very into UFOs. I don't care.
Okay, hold on. I'm not very into UFOs. Don't make me sound like I'm not very into UFOs. I'm just saying there's things that we should question. That's all I'm saying.
I'm into it too. I pretend I'm not, but I kind of am.
There's just things that we should question. That's all I'm saying. Lizard people, for example. There's a video of Kelly Clarkson and Seth Meyers. He did this thing every once in a while where he would like take a celebrity and they would just get hammered and film it. And it's really funny, but she just seems like the most fun drunk ever.
She does seem cool.
And also, like, every time I see that woman, like, she just kind of doesn't seem to give a shit about celebrity, which for most pop stars, that's not normal. Like, she just seems totally real, normal. Maybe she's not, but I want to get drunk. Kelly, I want to get drunk with you.
Open invitation.
We can do it over Zoom.
Yeah.
Little invitation to the podcast.
I know you listen.
We'll get drunk over Zoom.
She's a huge fan.
I know you're a fan.
To this show.
It's true. All right. So you have any more?
Yeah, no, that's all me. I'm good.
All right. Who's next?
All right, Laura, you want to go or you want me to go?
Yeah, I can go. I'll go.
You want a Rochambeau?
Sure.
To Rochambeau.
1, 2, 3. Are you doing it?
You're delayed because your internet's fucked up.
We can't see your
never
hand.
mind. Okay, I'm gonna go.
I
just Rochambeau'd
before
and made
you
a
go,
decision.
I just want to say, Laura, when she was choosing her picks, grew up in a much cooler era for music than any of us in high school age.
I did.
So you're very lucky, but also this was a hard decision, I'm assuming.
I honestly don't. I'm still completely upset that I even had to choose anything because I listened to a lot. I actually, in reviewing all of this, I realized that I had very kind of eclectic taste and kind of listened to everything. And so it was very hard to narrow down what I was going to pick. But so the albums that I'm choosing that I sort of represent my vibe in high school that I love, that I've listened to 100,000 times are Give Up by the Postal Service.
Awesome.
That album I played so many times that I had to buy a second copy, which is classic CD changer for all of you youngins.
Is that why we have 3 copies of that record?
Probably. The second one is Illinois by Sufjan Stevens, because that was the first time I had ever heard like really gorgeous, like string kind of orchestral orchestrations. And also like the Postal Service, I was so used to consuming, especially in the indie categories, like music that only featured like white male vocalists, that it was like very refreshing for me to hear like women singing, and I could sing along and I kind of learned the harmonies. I don't know. It was really nice. And also he has flute on the first track of Illinois. So
hell yeah.
You're basically, just to let you know, like your picks are what my picks so far would be for college.
Okay.
So
my
Laura,
third pick is
when I met you, you were 15. And the first time we ever hung out, you were like, do you know Sufjan's Illinois? And I was like, no. So you made me listen to it. I was 18 or 19, maybe 18, I think. Yeah.
I mean, it's a really great album. And it was so weird too. I was like, whoa, who is this guy with 7-minute songs and like talking about wasps?
That describes it enough. Yeah.
I also thought he was super dreamy, and like I printed out a photo of him and I like put it on my wall like with all the other band photos, and you know, of course,
but he's still dreamy. He's like
he's
jacked.
Still gorgeous, but like now I know he's gay, so
but he's jacked and beautiful.
He might be bi.
Come on, man.
We don't know.
Okay, sure, yeah, that's true. There might still be a shot.
Yeah, you know what? There might still be a shot.
Still got a shot, baby.
So you're saying there's a shot?
Fuck you, Liam.
Okay, so I picked 5 albums because I couldn't narrow down for less than that. But did I say the Garden State soundtrack?
No,
that's one. I mean, I know it's basic.
So good.
But it's such a good
I'm all
soundtrack.
about it. That's
so good.
That's like after high school for me. Oh yeah,
everything about it is great.
Oh man, it opens with Coldplay. You also got Frou Frou, Let Go on there. You got
Sia, 07.
Grit,
07?
Grit, Blue Eyes.
Colin Hay.
Yeah.
No,
is that who it is?
No, that's not Colin Hay. That's
sorry.
No, it's I can't remember actually.
Oh my god, how am I forgetting? Oh, hold on, I'm looking this up.
Oh, the Shins. That's like how they got famous.
The Shins. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I love that soundtrack. It's like instant nostalgia. Okay, my last 2 of the essentials, and then I have to do some honorable mentions. I'm sorry, but I just have to.
Carey Brothers is the Blue Eyes.
Carey Brothers,
yeah,
right? He was friends with Zach Braff.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, there you go. Hook up your friends if you're a filmmaker. Okay, so my next pick is Missy Elliott, Under Construction.
Sick.
Yeah.
I've always loved her, but I mean, and I love all of her records too, but like that one it was like right in my high school.
Well, also
time.
when they did that, she was, I think last year, given an award by MTV, and they did this like, you know, the thing they always do where they play like all the videos and hits, and she's the U2 of the 90s rap world, where it's like, I didn't know how much I liked U2 until I listened to the number ones record, where I'm like, every one of these songs is a hit that I just didn't think about in context. Missy's the same way. She has so many jams. So good.
Yeah, I mean, she's amazing. So, okay, my last one, and this was hard to narrow down, but Destiny's Child Survivor, because obviously. So my honorable mentions include Beyonce, of course, Dangerously in Love. Outkast.
Ooh, yeah.
Franz Ferdinand, Death Cab for Cutie, Mars Volta, The Strokes, The Streets, Air. Remember Air?
Yes.
Modest Mouse. There's only one. There are two more. Modest Mouse, and then Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk, because I had a very intense jazz phase for a second there.
Yeah, everyone should.
Isn't that a weird mixture of things?
Wait, hold on.
Though?
I just want to point this out. Was your jazz phase because of a boy?
Okay. Technically, it's multiple boys.
Multiple boys.
Well, okay, so
Does your mother know?
Was a part of I don't even know how to describe it. A pack of, it was like 5 or 6 boys and then me, and my mom called them the puppies, and they all were in jazz band. A couple of them showed me certain artists who I may have glommed onto.
Well, Laura's lucky because literally like every one of her friends from like her high school age, every single one of the friends that I've met is just like the nicest, most awesome like person.
Yeah, and they had a huge influence on my musical education too. Like they all showed me all of these. They were a couple years ahead of me, so, like age-wise, so they would like tell me, oh, check this out, whatever.
That's weird because my sister, who was 2 grades down from me, she was the one that fed me later in life.
Well, they had licenses before I did, so they could give me, they could lend me the albums. I mean, I wish I could have included some of the, like, what are they called? Mixed CDs that were curated for me. I want to hear Owen's picks because I'm very curious. This could go really
This could go a lot of different ways, yeah.
This could go hip hop. This could go punk. It could go classical.
I already know what his first pick is. I already know.
The Clash?
Fees.
Fees. It's to end up
banana.
Actually, I'll do them quick. So I did have a big punk phase. It was really hard to pick like a one punk album because it was more like just a genre that I sort of dove into head first. But I think I'll pick Sonic Boys, Young, Loud, and Snotty as my favorite. That was the one I always like kind of came back to.
I've never heard of that band ever.
That's 1977. So that's like the first.
Oh, damn.
There's like a 77 explosion in Europe. And then they were like the first like American 77 band to kind of get big.
Nice.
I'm going to go 9 Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral.
Yeah. I actually like Further Down the Spiral more than Downward Spiral, weirdly enough.
I just think that's the album. That was the first 9 Inch Nails. I'm trying to say a lot of stuff at once. That was the first 9 Inch Nails album I heard. And like, it just didn't sound like anything I'd ever heard before. And like, I definitely was like weirded out for like 2 weeks, but like intrigued enough that like after 2 weeks of hearing it a couple of times, like I went and bought it, and like brought it home, and I was like, I don't even understand this. And then eventually, does that
album open with Mr. Self-Destruct with the sound of the guy getting punched?
Yes. Yeah.
That album, I was listening to 9 Inch Nails, Metallica, or 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, and Prodigy all at the same time. And all 3 of those records, I mean, if you put Firestarter or Breathe up against, Head Like a Hole or actually Perfect Drug, if you listen to Perfect Drug on a good sound system, I've never heard a more tasteful 808 drum pattern in my entire life. And it's so well mixed and it's just heavy.
It's just also like all 10 years, if not more, ahead of its time. It's crazy. Like nothing released around that sent anything like it for so long.
Yeah.
So then my final thing is classical pick. I'm going with the Cleveland Quartet, the box set recording of the late Beethoven string quartets. Just because that was the album that made more impact on my life than anything else, because that's what convinced me to give up. I had already been accepted at UC Berkeley, like for an engineering degree. And I was just like, it was a combination of that. I was given that because I was playing some of those quartets, like over a summer camp thing. And like at the end of the camp, between listening to that and playing them, I was like, nope, changed my mind, going to a conservatory, going to do music. So,
I mean,
Beethoven is the original Busserboob.
Yeah, I literally didn't really start listening to classical music. I knew very, very basic like Beethoven song or like pieces, and but I didn't start listening to classical until I met you guys, and I started going to the symphony, and like Owen started getting drunk with me and throwing classical music at me. But I think you're really fortunate to have been in a place in your life that you could take that in a way that at that age, you know, because like I mean I kind of was going through that with jazz where I was able to kind of understand jazz music, but classical is a whole nother beast in some ways. Yeah. Okay, so here's a question.
It's a big world.
Here's a follow-up question. What are you can list a few, but what are a few bands that you're a little embarrassed that you were like a big fan of in high school?
Big fan. Okay.
So I got my list. I was thinking about this as we were going. All right. So when I say, and I don't mean like you listen, I mean like you were a fan of these bands.
In high school?
Yeah. Right. So the bands of high school that I was a fan of, that I'm a little embarrassed about, but I do believe that everything I've listened to has taught me something. So I was a big fan of Korn for about a year. I actually recently was bored and I wrote a cover of Freak on a Leash, if you guys ever want to hear it.
Oh.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Limp Bizkit for a year.
Oh, that would have been mine. I was a fan of Limp Bizkit for most of high school, you know. Or like I guess that was more in middle school. It was like middle school to mid high school. But,
yeah.
Oh yeah, whole time.
I was a big fan of Orgy for about a year. I don't know if you guys remember Orgy. They did that cover of Blue Monday.
Don't.
Yeah, I know that one.
I was a big fan. Well, I'm not actually embarrassed about this. I was a big fan of Rob Zombie for about a year. And I'm not embarrassed about this, but I realized it towards the end. Probably the closest thing that I ever got to pop punk in high school, where I was like a fan, and they're more emo. They're not pop punk, but they definitely, John, you'll know what I mean in terms of the tone of the band. Mm-hmm. I was obsessed with Jimmy Eat World's first record.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Clarity was the first record, right?
Oh no! I guess second record then.
It was self-titled. It was called Bleed American, and they changed it. But originally it was Clarity. Yeah, it was Bleed American, and they changed it. Like when they reprinted this, it was self-titled because it came out like right during like 9/11. So.
Oh, weird! I have the album that says Bleed America on it.
Yeah, so you have one of the original, and then they printed new copies that just said Jimmy Eat World on it. So I think now it's just called Bleed American again, but. For a while, there was one that's just self-titled.
Actually, I forgot. No. The number one band in high school that it would take me back that I was obsessed with, hands down, Coldplay. I was obsessed with their first record.
This is embarrassed of. Are you embarrassed of that? I mean,
you still.
No. I'm saying I'm throwing it in into my picks. Like I was obsessed with Coldplay when they first came out, and I mean that first record was just so good.
I'm trying to think of embarrassed, good.
I'm not really embarrassed of anything I listened to.
Well, you didn't listen to Korn and Limp Bizkit and Orgy for an entire year.
I had a Limp Bizkit album, but it was given to me, and to be honest, I didn't really like it that much. So I think
that doesn't count. I bought it.
I liked Korn, but I don't think I'm embarrassed of that. I think I still like Korn a little bit.
Korn actually, if you think about it, when they first started, nothing sounded like them. I don't think they ever thought they'd actually get famous because they were so weird. I think they were just
it was weird fun. Goth metal. I don't know, new metal stuff.
It was weird.
This wasn't high school, but like a little before. I was really into Pennywise for a while.
You're into what?
Fees?
I said Pennywise.
Pennywise. Okay.
Pennywise.
That's like more like 7th grade, probably. That I'm kind of embarrassed of.
I'm trying to think back. I mean, yeah, I'm not really embarrassed about anything. Like, I've always been very open about loving pop music. I didn't, though, I wasn't really like obsessed with any bands that would have been super embarrassing. Like, I mean, I did, I remember listening to the first Maroon 5 album a lot.
That's a good record. Which is
a very good album, actually, in my opinion. I think it holds up.
Early Maroon 5 was a different band.
Yeah, but everything else, like, I'm just thinking about all the like pop music I listened to, and I kind of was very discerning with what I liked. I loved The Killer's first record. Which
underrated record.
I love Mr. Brightside. I loved that song. I remember watching that video and just being like, I want Brandon Flowers to be chasing me around a fanciful hotel room.
Apparently that list has been, I should find out. I should research more before I just like say things. But I read some article, and maybe next week I'll tell you what it actually says. But that has been charting higher than any song has been for like 20 years.
Yep.
Like it set some record.
In the UK.
Mr. Brightside?
Yeah, in the UK.
It just like has never stopped charting since it was released.
That's amazing. I mean, I actually am not very surprised about that. There are a couple songs that
You
are like
hear it
that are
everywhere.
outliers.
You know, but it's not the best Killer song. John, what's the best Killer song?
Are you
Come on,
The Man.
Oh,
The Man is the best
I
Killer
know.
song. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I should do a cover of that.
On that note, I think that's a good place to stop. On The Man.
I think.
The Man.
I think that's solid.
I think that's solid.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back in a little bit.
In a couple
with the
weeks.
Next episode. Tune
Keep
in.
your eyes peeled for a special, fun episode of Unrefined Palates with John and Laura.
that'll
It's
be
true.
a week after the next week after this drops. So look for that. It's always the fun.
And don't forget, tune in unless otherwise posted, tune in every other Thursday to watch a themed cover show on our Facebook channel. And every Thursday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. And every Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time for Family Crest Faves. And you know what? We've started doing a thing that I think I'm going to keep going because it's kind of fun, where you could decide our playlist for the week.
Yeah, this is our first
In fact,
fan-curated one. But
maybe
actually,
we should do it on this
they're gonna miss it.
podcast.
This won't come out.
Maybe we should do it. Maybe we should just ask a question right now.
Okay.
Who wants to throw out some weird TFC trivia? How about oh, I got it.
I had
No
one
one's
too.
gonna get this though.
I had one too.
Okay, we're gonna ask 2 questions. Whoever answers in the comments first gets it. We broke down once in a town on the 5 going to LA. What was the name of said town?
We've talked
was
about
early in our
this in
careers.
old podcast episodes. So why don't
And
you
it
go
was-
ahead
it
and
was the
comment?
vehicle?
Yes, go ahead and comment
It was
in
the vehicle of the Duke.
the vehicle, the Duke. Comment in the YouTube comments below, and we'll look at those ones.
By the way,
If
the
you're
Duke
watching
still
on
has a
video, if you're
Facebook.
yeah,
The
if you're on
Duke still
audio,
has a
go to
Facebook
YouTube.
page.
Go
The
ahead.
Duke
I know.
still has a Facebook page.
I know.
And I
He's
know
awesome.
this because I get messages periodically. Like the Duke
He's just
has one
messaging
new
you.
view.
Admin
I'm like,
messages?
oh, yeah.
What's
One new
what's
view.
your question?
Oh, mine was going to be, so on tour, on every single tour, every single night, John and us stay in the same room.
It's true.
I don't know that we've ever had really nights apart. There is a term for this of the thruple. There is a specific term. If you know the thruple term,
Yes.
the platonic thruple, platonic between John and Laura and John and Liam, but not platonic between Laura and Liam. If you know our term,
It's not
for
platonic
this-
between John and Liam either.
Okay. If you know the term for this, comment below.
Yeah, whoever gets one of those questions right in the comments below, you get to choose
The set
the
list
following
for
the set list
the
for the
following
TFC thing.
week.
6 of your
Liam
favorite
streaming.
songs.
TFC songs.
Fun.
Perfect.
That's what that I mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
6 of your favorite. I'm just to clarify
Yeah,
because
not
it's
6 of like
not
your
6
favorite.
is random
other
covers.
favorite
Yeah,
band
you get to
songs.
choose the set list from the TFC catalog that.
And I'm
Liam
just
will
gonna
perform
put
that
this
week.
out there. You can't choose the same song over and over again.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to do 6 versions of Love Don't Go.
No, Rue Philippe, baby, all day.
I mean, actually, that would be interesting. I guess. Yeah, just
Viewers were just like,
45 minutes of Rue Philippe.
Just do Never Gonna Stop on repeat for the whole 40 minutes.
Right.
Oh my God.
Keeping with the.
All right. Well, with that, thanks for tuning in. Rate, subscribe,
Subscribe and
on
rate.
the thing. Click that little bell icon.
Yeah, the subscribe and rate button. Boop, bing, bing, bing.
We love you.
We love you. We'll see you guys later.